Hello and welcome to JimbowWalks 5. Today we are doing a stealth camp locally, not far from my house. It's going to be quite an adventure. We only completed one other stealth camp in JimbowWalks 2. That was at San Miguel, and that was an area where I was certainly less likely to be discovered. I think there was a lesser risk certainly there. But where we're stealth camping today is right next to a very large supermarket. It's a German budget, very well known, popular supermarket that you can probably guess which one it is. And we are going to be hopefully camping secretly very, very close to it in a small area of trees and bushes and kind of overgrowth. Yeah, we're gonna see how that goes. Just a very quick recap of the JimbowWalks adventures so far. We had the camping at Ruta del Porche near Monachil. That was JimbowWalks number 1. Number 2 was a stealth camping video. That was at San Miguel Alto. Sorry. JimbowWalks 3 was a river walk along the Rio Henig, where we visited Cenes de la Vega and Pinos Genil, and also the center of Granada along the river. Beautiful trip over 3 different days. And JimbowWalks number 4 was, if I can remember, yes, it was a city walk, a walk around historic Granada, the center of the city, and then through Albaicin, overlooking Granada city, and finally a camping trip in La Subia, which is a small town very close to the center of Granada. So that's a quick recap of JimbowWalks 1, 2, 3 and 4. Today we are embarking on chapter 5, JimbowWalks 5, stealth camp in Zaidín in Granada. So before we start today's stealth camp, we need to carry out a reconnaissance mission. I want to do some preliminary scoping out and kind of survey the situation, where I could possibly return to later for the stealth camp. Where I'll be hopefully hiding out for the night is an area with very high foot traffic, very close to a very busy road. So I just really want to come back later just as it's getting dark, sneak straight into a spot and disappear. So I'm going to do a little scope now to suss out the situation and work out what the best plan of action is for later. This is the back of the supermarket. The entrance is just down to the right hand side. There's a pathway that leads to the front of the supermarket and the car park. And we're going to sleep either behind the supermarket, somewhere along this pathway, or in front of the supermarket to an area I'll show you in just a moment. So option number 1 is to find a spot on either side of this pathway. Now, I passed through here a few weeks ago and it was a lot of overgrowth on either side of the path, and there were tons of options for hiding away, where even if somebody was to pass just a couple of meters from you, I'm not sure they'd see you. However, the local council, the Ayuntamiento, have very helpfully come and cut down a lot of the overgrowth. So there are far fewer options than there were previously. One of those options, though, is down here, behind this large bush, these rose bushes. People are not going to pass through there, and there is a lot of overgrown grass and plants just on the other side of those bushes. I can see though that somebody else may have beaten me to it, because a cardboard box has been laid out. The most clear and present danger is that there is a street light on this side of the rose bushes and a street light on this side of the path. So either side of the potential spot is lit. It's going to be heavily lit up. The lights come on at dusk. So I'm not sure this is an option. This may be like a plan B. Moving further down the path, again on the sides, it's all just been cut all the way down to the soil. It's not even grass, in fact. Like, they've really gone, maybe they only do this a couple of times a year, so they've really cut down to the soil, and there's no coverage at all here. There's no option for hiding out at all, which I suppose may have been the intention. Perhaps there was an issue at one time with people camping out here. So the more I think about it, I'm really not sure that this is an option at all along here, which is a shame. We'll just have to see. You know, I wonder if there's an option in here. Behind this big tree here. Obviously it's not somewhere you would ever choose to camp, but for the purposes of a stealth camp, I wonder if it could be an option. I mean, what I don't like to see here is that there are beer bottles and cans, plastic bags, things like that, which just shows that perhaps other people come here late at night. Let's continue. Okay, so almost certainly stealth camping along this pathway is not the option that it once was. I think I'm going to have to abandon that, disregard it as an option completely. It's unfortunate. Okay, so just while I'm building up the courage to jump into the spot. As you'll no doubt know by now, in every chapter of the Jimbowalks story, I suppose, I tried to take a moment of gratitude to say thank you to those people that have been influential, inspirational, supportive in my own life, and somebody within the world of YouTube that has given me some encouragement and motivation to start this channel and to keep going when it can be a slow start, that's for sure. So I'd like to first dedicate my moment of gratitude to somebody in my own life. Actually, it's two people. They're two friends of mine that live in Barcelona, here in Spain. And I lived in Barcelona for, I'm not sure, about a year, possibly more. About 3-4 years ago now, I worked there for a software company in a sales position, business development, and I met two wonderful friends who are Marcus and Josh. Marcus is from the UK, from England, and Joshua is from Ireland. The reason why I'd like to my gratitude to these guys is that they were really supportive and invaluable, really, at what was quite a difficult time for me. Things weren't really working out in different parts of my life, and both Joshua and Marcus were really instrumental in keeping me on track. So thank you to Marcus and Josh, and also just for being awesome friends. They're both really fantastic people, very generous, very kind, and yeah, I really am very fortunate to have these friends in my life. There are some friendships that even if you don't speak all that often, you just know that it's still there, and it's still important, and it will be picked up again, and I can't wait to catch up with them both soon. In the world of YouTube, today I'm going to pick Grace from Grace's Adventures. So for anyone that doesn't know or isn't already subscribed or following Grace's Adventures, she is a young woman who does solo hiking, solo camping, solo adventures in the UK and also elsewhere now, I believe. So she's climbed Ben Nevis and a number of the most challenging different landscapes in the UK, and she's really quite an inspirational, strong, headstrong, physically strong. I think with Grace, what really appeals to me is that like she has certain qualities that if my daughter were to grow up to be the kind of person that Grace is, then I'd be extremely proud of her. She's very brave. She's not intimidated by a challenge. She's also very modest, so sometimes things don't work out, but she always remains humble and has an incredible ability to remain motivated and keep pushing forward. She's achieved a number of really impressive like physical feats. Yeah, she's just awesome. If you're not already, go follow Grace's adventures, and yeah, you won't be disappointed. She's really an excellent example of what the outdoors YouTube world should be about. We're going to make our way back along that pathway now, back up to the other side of the supermarket where we just came from, and then we're going to head down towards the main road, around to the front of the supermarket, and I'm hoping that there's still an area there that's pretty perfect for stealth camping. Let's see. My word, it must be high 30 degrees right now. I'd say 37 degrees possibly. It has actually been hotter. It's cooled down the last couple of weeks, but I can feel that it's getting back up now to mid-summer 40 degrees plus every day weather, and I really love the heat, but it makes sleeping very difficult. I don't think that would be an issue tonight though on a stealth camp. There'll be many other reasons why I won't be able to sleep. I don't think the temperature will be one of them. I'm obviously going to be camping somewhere that I perhaps shouldn't be, so yeah. You can see on the far side there, there's actually a clock. It's 38 degrees, it says. Here, there's this strip of land between this supermarket, some shops, and this bus stop on the main road. This strip here, I think this could be a great option. I'm going to do a quick walk around the perimeter. I'll be quiet just so you can take in the sounds and everything. But let me know what you think. Do you think this is a good option for a stealth camp? Okay, I can't hold off any longer. I just need to do it. I'm just going to go in here. wait, something's biting me. An ant was biting me. I'm looking out for signs. You know, people's possessions, belongings. I don't want to put myself in danger, but I also don't want to scare someone else that's not, you know, some unsuspecting person that's not expecting some dude making YouTube videos to just suddenly appear in somewhere that they thought was safe, right? So I'm not going to go any further up there. That goes right up to the corner where the bus stop is, where the roundabout is. So also looking on the ground, because you do get some huge ants here. There's an ant's nest there, I can see that. Now you do not want to be sleeping anywhere near an ant's nest, obviously. There's a tissue there. Maybe someone going to the toilet. I think this is a great spot in here, look. It's a great spot. And right here, possibly. I think this could be the spot for later. Under this tree. Some coverage. I'll be with my jungle bag anyway, so if it's dark, I'll almost certainly not be seen. Yeah. In all honesty, like, I'm not concerned about people just like coincidentally coming in here just on a one-off. It's a Wednesday evening. I specifically didn't do this on the weekend, when there'd be far more traffic on the road, but also, you know, groups of people heading home. You know, maybe someone's walking home from a night out. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and someone needs to go to the toilet. And they could wander in here, and you know, that would not be a good situation. That's far less likely on a Wednesday. But I guess there's only one way to tell. I have to come back later. In these really high temperatures, this camera is boiling hot. It's even touching it, even holding it is uncomfortable. I was looking at the manufacturer's guidelines. It said 35 degrees maximum operating temperature, and it's at least 37, 38 right now. So yes, that's a slight concern. This is a DJI Pocket 2 4K camera. It's excellent. I'm really happy with it. I hire it, I rent it. I pay around 25 euros, so I don't know, £20 a month for it. I'd like to have bought one outright, but they cost about 400 or 500, I think. So for now, I'm hiring it. Yeah, it is what it is for now. I'm renting it, so I have to be really careful with it, even more so than if it were my own, I suppose. And I really hope that I don't damage it by using it in excessive temperatures. It's time for a beer, no? We're going to do the beer review now. Hello and welcome to Jimbo Walks. It's time for another beer review. Today we will be looking at the unbelievable Steam Brew Imperial IPA. Now, this beer is from a very popular German budget supermarket. It's exceptional value. This beer is only 99 cents for a 50 centiliter or 500 milliliter, half a liter. 99 cents, less than €1 for a can of this is really awesome. It's 7.8%. this particular version. So this is the Imperial IPA, and it's one of around 5 or 6 varieties, I suppose, and they differ in strength from around 5% all the way up to 8 or 9%, I think, the strongest one. There's a stout, so almost like a Guinness. There is a lighter IPA. There's a Weiss beer, like a wheat beer. And there's even, I think it's only a seasonal thing, but there is a lemon, what's the name for that? Like Radler, right? I know that's quite popular. I've tried all of them, and this by far for me is my favorite. It's not ridiculously strong, like 9-10%, because when you start getting that strong, like for me personally, that just becomes a little unpleasant, and I feel quite uncomfortable after drinking it. They're just too heavy. They just bloat you and make you feel yeah, like you've just had a 9% beer, right? And the lighter versions, like 5.5%, I think for me there perhaps are better options around that percentage point on the alcohol, but yeah, for me this is just a perfect sweet spot. It's slightly bitter. It's an IPA, so it's a little bit citrusy. It's a little it's neither particularly sweet nor particularly bitter, but it's just on the bitter side of that scale. It is cloudy, but not excessively so. And yeah, it's a really great beer. Should we try it out? Lovely. Salud. Wow. This really is a good beer. Like, I'm not exaggerating. This really is one of the best beers I've ever had in a can. It has that real sharp, strong, like fruity IPA tones, but because it's strong, it packs a bit of a punch at the same time. So you get all that intense flavour in your mouth, but then it's kind of followed up by a bang of the strength behind that, and that combination is really gorgeous. It's beautiful taste, I have to say. Actually, for this price, and from the supermarket that I bought it from, I kind of assumed that it was going to be full of chemicals and flavour enhancers and things like that, and many lagers are actually, but it's German, and of course they have the German what's the word, purification law, I think it's called, and so there's nothing in this at all apart from water, barley, hops, malt, all those natural ingredients, and nothing else is added to this, which is excellent actually. I think what attracts a lot of people to this beer is the design of the can. It's won several awards for its design. They've gone for the steampunk aesthetic style, that kind of retro futuristic, like the Steam Explorers. It's a really awesome design actually, I have to say. It is what initially attracted me to this, and I'm so glad that it did, because the beer is amazing as well. But certainly the design goes a long way. This is the only beer I'm having today as well, by the way. Because of the stealth camp, I really don't want there to be any beer in my system. It's only 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm coming back for the stealth camp in like 4 hours or so. I'm not going to have anything else to drink. I need to be clear thinking and kind of as alert and awake as possible. Highly recommended. And just once again, it's the Steam Brew Imperial IPA. Steambrew.com. It really is an excellent beer. If you can get this in your country, check out German budget supermarkets in your city. This is an unaffiliated, unsponsored, impartial beer review, 100%. And yes, but I just want to share the news of great beer with my friends. So thank you for watching today's beer review. Leave no trace. I'm delaying now because I'm nervous. says over there 31 degrees. So 10 p.m. 31 degrees Celsius. Okay, it's getting really dark now. I think we're getting close to the time. I think the time for delaying has passed. I just need to get in there, get set out. Otherwise it'll be too dark and you guys won't be able to see anything. So here goes. Okay, so you'll see what I see. Staff from the supermarket all out front. It's not great. You know, I think I'm going to enter from this side. I'm going to avoid entering from right in front of the supermarket. If I can find a point here. Is there a gap? Kind of looks like a gap. Let's see. Yep. I'm in. So obvious. Sit down. I don't know, guys, the path is just there. I mean, it's maybe 3 meters from where I'm seated. Maybe I need to move back a little bit. I need to see somebody walk past just there and see how clearly they can see me. I mean, that's the other thing right now. There's a car just parked right there. And the problem is also, they'll sit there for a minute or so whilst the lights change. Just, I can see into their car. Now look, I realise that people aren't expecting to see somebody in here. Let's see what we can see. This is over to the right. Behind me is really dark, but I can't really go back any further. Over to the right there is the really busy roundabout. Then there's the bus stop just across on the right, and the busy road in front of me. And over to my left is where we entered from. And the supermarket is directly behind me. Hello. I've tried to move back a bit further into this, under this tree, but because of all the street lighting just in front of me, all around me is completely illuminated, and I really don't see it getting much darker even when the sun's completely set. I'm contemplating another location. I don't want to give up on this. I really don't know if this is the right spot. I feel so exposed. I mean, it's all very good and well, stealth camping really close to like a few meters from a really busy road, if you're undercover. I'm not at all. I mean, when people walk past, I can clearly make them out. Like, it's just a few meters away. Why would they be looking in here? I don't know, but there's also some buildings in front, just across here, that all have balconies. I can see a couple of people in their houses, they're more likely to see me from the light of the camera. I must really stand out, like amongst all these trees and bushes, and there's no other lighting in here at all. And there's just one bright light. I turn the brightness down as low as possible. But it's still quite bright when it's dark. I think I'm gonna walk around, guys. I'm not going to abandon this. We'll find somewhere, but I don't think this is the one. I think I'll be seen sooner rather than later. It's just far too much street lighting around me. I'm surrounded by street lights, and I'd considered that, but I hadn't really fully considered just how illuminated this patch would be once the sun goes down. I need to reconsider the plan here. I don't want to spend every moment of the entire night on edge. I mean, yeah. Walking always helps. I'm going to go for a walk, have a think about this, may potentially come back to this same spot, but also possibly not. Let's see. Let's go for a walk. ...30 meters from where I was laying. I'm gonna go and look at this. Is the other half of that area. This is not intended to be a park. There's no gates, there's no openings apart from those that people have made. Like this one, for example, where people have stepped through. It's not intended for people to be walking their dogs in or anything like that, which makes it a little more high risk. This is almost certainly somewhere that I'm not, that I shouldn't be. But the other side to that is I'm unlikely to have any, dog walkers just turn up, or the likelihood of other people going into this area. They would really have to have the intention of doing what I'm doing, or perhaps people without a home just looking for somewhere for shelter for the night. That's obviously always a possibility, but it's not like it's somewhere where kids are going to be playing football or people will be walking around just recreationally. I think that could be a benefit in this situation. I'm unlikely to get people just stumbling upon me, especially in the middle of the night, of course. There's certainly more open space. That's not good news for stealth camping. I think I would be far more visible in here. Anywhere out here in the open, even though I'm with my bivvy bag, it's too much of a risk. I need to be under some cover. And it's just so little cover here. In this corner up here, there are more options. However, there's also housing up here. This is buildings at this end. These houses, I think I could arouse more suspicion, potentially. I'm also quite close to the road here. I think there'll be a lot more traffic there. but no more so than at the other end. Let's push our way through here, shall we? Oh, was this a mistake? I think it was. Okay, let's head back out. Next time I see you will be in about four hours or so when we head back down for the stealth camp. Please join me for the next part in this journey. Thank you for your support of the JimbowWalks channel. Good evening. It's time. Let's do this. This is potentially the most dangerous, or let's say daring, of the stealth camp so far. I will be very, very close to people all night, probably. Being so close to such a busy road, it's definitely far higher likelihood of me being found. With it being so hot in the daytime, it really only starts to cool down about this time of night. It's now almost 10 p.m. Here it's very common for young children and elderly people and everywhere in between to be out until midnight, just because it's just so hot during the day that it's their time to breathe and get some fresh air is in the evening. So that's a slight concern in terms of stealth camping, because there will still be a lot of people about. I'm expecting until about now. A large roundabout now with a fountain on. That only comes on in the evening, of course. Still so much traffic. It's like rush hour at 10 p.m. The supermarket's just closing, so I guess we'll have about another half an hour or so for all the customers to leave and all drive away. I'm hoping in half an hour it will be a lot quieter. So if you remember from earlier, hey, you know what? That we looked at this afternoon, where I said there was less cover. It's far more open. There are fewer bushes and trees, but in the center it's completely dark because the street lights are nowhere near as close. This may be a better option. Maybe this is a better option. Let's make our way in. This is much better. I mean, I'm guessing you can't see anything on the camera, which is kind of how I need it to be. This is better. I don't want to walk around too much. I'm going to sit down. Hey guys, not sure if you can see me. So I think I'm going to stay in this spot. I need to keep my voice down. I need to stay down. I need to keep the camera off as much as possible. The problem is I didn't really check in detail like the ground here earlier today. I'm primarily focused on that other area. I don't know if there are ants here. If people are using this as a toilet. I don't know. I don't recall seeing any real signs of life, although I can see a couple of tissues on the floor, which is never a good sign. But it's too dark now for me to be able to really see the ground, and there's no way I'm turning my light on. But I have a sense that this is a safer option. I could always be wrong, of course. I've never done this before. Oh god. One of the other challenges here on this side is that the ground is really hard. In that other area, it wasn't quite as sparse. There was grass on the ground and it was just softer. It's going to make for a really uncomfortable night, I suspect. What have I got myself into? A family have just parked their car just 2 meters from where I'm sitting. Move through to there's a clearing through here where there's some of the street light coming through. At least then I'll be able to see something. So I'm moving closer to the road for some light. I'm going back. There's a big group of people just over there. Pushing through the bushes trying to get back to my stuff. Ow. Also, because the ground's so hard, it's an ASMR lover's dream. It's so crunchy and cracking as you walk on it. But in terms of stealth, it makes so much noise just to move around. My intention was to show you my kit for tonight and my food. Of course I was never intending on cooking here, but I did want to show you my dinner. Okay, I'm not even kidding. I think that's a police car. I saw in the corner of my eye. flashing lights. And I thought it went away. And then I heard a vehicle. Can you hear that? It's just sitting with the engine running. Maybe 10 meters from me. But they're not parking. What are they doing? I don't think it is the police. I think my mind's just playing tricks on me. There's a car just sitting there. Why? Someone's getting out. Engine off. I'm eating something to calm my nerves. Yeah, it's pretty delicious. Thank you, Esther. Was just me lying down. It's now 11 o'clock. So it's been an hour since the shop's closed. Just across from me. Almost everyone's gone home, it seems. This ground is so hard, it's almost like broken concrete, you know? So it hasn't rained for a while. I can't see the ground around me clearly at all. I have a headlamp in case of an emergency. I can use my Nightcore NU25 headlamp, and if there's an emergency I will, but if I can avoid that, then of course I don't want to blow my cover completely. Yeah, it's quite a wealthy little neighbourhood, so I don't want to take any risks with alerting local residents or the local community, especially this time of night. One of my biggest fears right now is dogs. It's not uncommon for people to walk their dogs really late at night here. It's so hot in the day that people usually give their dogs a walk in the morning, and then late at night. I'm hoping people don't just let their dogs roam around here. I'm a lover of dogs. I don't think a dog would just attack an innocent person for no reason, but it could be that I would startle them. A scared dog that's caught off guard like that could be slightly unpredictable. So I really hope that we don't see any dogs. Hello friends, it's 12 o'clock, midnight. Before I get into my bivvy bag and attempt to sleep, which seems unlikely, but before I do that, I am going to stretch my legs. You're going to come with me. So I'm going to try and make my way through the bush in front of me to a bit of a clearing. Let's see. So, I should really be careful just wandering around here. There's a path behind me, most of which is completely exposed. not much coverage at all, and I'm here with this small but bright LCD screen on this camera. Stick out like a sore thumb. And on the other side there is where all the street lighting is, where the busy road is. And the pathway is clearly visible from even where I am now. But even if someone saw me, I'm hoping they just wouldn't care. It's too late at night to be worrying about what some guy's doing, hiding in the bushes. Let's see. Also the buildings in front. All the balconies look straight into this green area. I have an excellent vantage point. I should get back under cover. This was a risky move. I'm going to get back into my setup, get inside the bivvy bag, just get my head down and wait for a few hours to pass until the sun rises, and then I'll get moving. Okay, it's 1 AM. The road is still really busy. I've put my earphones in, just trying to quell the anxiety a little bit, just try and calm that down. So listening to some podcasts, just to pretend that I'm at home in bed, and yeah, let's see what happens over the next few hours. I'm pretty confident that all will be well, and I'll probably wake up at some ungodly early hour, but I think I'll be left alone. Famous last words, right? Well, unless something dramatic happens, I will see you guys bright and early in the morning. Thank you for joining me so far. I'll see you in the morning. Buenas noches. Hasta mañana. Good night. See you tomorrow. Thank you for following. Take care. Hello. Okay, it's 2:30 in the morning. I wasn't sleeping. I couldn't sleep. But a vehicle just lost control on the road just beside me. And I'm gonna go and have a look and see what the damage is. A huge bang, massive bang. Must be some serious damage up here. I think the car drove away, but it took about 2 minutes to drive away. It scared the hell out of me. Only about 20, 30 meters from where I was laying. I'm gonna go and look at the situation, but police are gonna come, obviously. I'm assuming the vehicle hit bus stop or something. The bus stop just up here. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have a look. Let's take a look. It's 2:39 AM. Some more debris here in the street. Okay, so Spent about 2 hours trying to sleep, and just all of a sudden there was this crazy loud screeching for a couple of seconds, and then a bang. Then there was about a minute or so or longer of a vehicle trying to drive away, but it was like screeching and scratching and like the sound of metal tearing through the concrete, through the road. I'm guessing that car didn't get far, but so I quickly packed up because I thought, well, police are going to come. Obviously, I need to get out of here. So I just decided to quickly pack up, and I just went to the road there to see what the damage was, as you saw. And there's just 4 or 5 like big metal blocks. I think a vehicle lost control and smashed through like a signal box or something. It doesn't appear as though there certainly don't appear to have been 2 vehicles unless both of them disappeared. But looking at the wreckage, like the debris, is all just like twisted metal. But it looked like, it kind of hit a signal box or like a traffic light box or something like that, and then disappeared. There was a guy there who said he was going to call the police. He was just driving past on his motorbike, and he stopped, and he said, "Oh, I'll call the police." And I said, "Well, look, I heard a bang, and I came to see what it was." And I said, "Well, was it 2 cars?" And he said, "Well, no." He said, "No, look, I mean, obviously a car's hit." I didn't understand exactly what he said. There's probably a specific term for this signal box or whatever it is I'm not familiar with. He didn't say semáforo. Semáforo is the word for traffic light. But anyway, so didn't quite get what he was saying, but he was saying that a car hit this thing and then disappeared. It sounded a lot worse than that though. Wow. I think the vehicle trying to drive away, whilst obviously in a bad way structurally, that probably was just as loud and concerning as anything else. But I couldn't stay there. I was literally camping like 20 meters, maybe possibly 30 meters from it, from where this took place, so I couldn't hang around. Hello friends, and welcome back. Just a very quick recap. So I'm back at the stealth camp spot where we attempted to stealth camp. So long story short, I came down here at about 10 p.m. and had found a spot that I thought was great. However, there was so much street lighting around that the entire area was illuminated. I got cold feet about that. It didn't feel right. I felt really on edge, and I know I would have spent every moment of that night just on edge, and that wasn't going to work. So I looked for an alternative spot, and I came to another part of the same green area, the second part, and I found what I thought was a great spot. It was really close to the road, but there was no street lighting, so I was far closer to cars passing and the occasional pedestrian, but I was in almost complete darkness, and that was great. Maybe I was just nervous, maybe just felt unsafe or just uncomfortable or whatever, but I was staying where I was intending on staying for the night, but I kind of felt like I probably wasn't going to sleep at all. The ground here is really firm. It's almost like concrete. It's really sharp and dry. After spending almost 3 hours not being able to sleep but just hiding away in my spot, I then was just falling asleep. I just couldn't fight it any longer, and I probably just would have got a few hours sleep, but I would have been okay with that. Suddenly, bang! So there was some kind of a collision here on the main road, not far from, really close to where I was initially going to camp, actually. I mean, just a few meters away. So thankfully my instincts were correct on that one, and that was not the spot to be in. But anyway, so I heard this bang about 2:30 a.m. I could hear people speaking, and something was going on. I needed to go and check it out. I was concerned maybe that two vehicles had collided. There could be somebody injured. So I quickly packed up all my stuff, and another concern was that police would be called, obviously, to investigate the situation. I thought they could be looking for people in the area. Maybe the person involved could have fled the scene, and they could be looking for people hiding away, and I really was just about 20 meters from where this took place, I later realized. So thankfully I had unpacked in a way that meant that it was really easy for me to just throw my Snugpak jungle bag into my bag, roll everything up like just a temporary fix, and then just quickly scan the ground quickly, make sure I hadn't left anything, and then just moved off really fast. I went to the main road, and I could see that I think what had happened, it seemed to be that a vehicle had had lost control, perhaps drunk driving or a stolen car, or they were speeding or something. They had lost control, and they had ploughed through a traffic light pole with a box on it. It's now missing, so it was scattered all over the ground. Like they were just the boxes. There's like 3 or 4 boxes. They were all scattered across the road. Big chunks of metal and various pieces of debris around. And so the car had screeched, hit that, and then had attempted to drive away, and spent a good couple of minutes like screeching, dragging this metal, probably trapped under their car, trying to get away, and they did. So when I went to investigate, there was a couple of people there just on their way home, I suppose, and there was a guy on a motorbike who told me that he suspected that like someone had lost control and hit this traffic light pole and then fled the scene. And he was calling the police because obviously someone needs to come and clear the debris from the street. It's dangerous, of course, so yeah, it was quite a drama. I was tempted to maybe find somewhere else, just to not abandon the stealth camp completely, but in the end I just decided to go home. I think I was pretty shook up by that bang. It was quite scary, to be honest, and maybe I think it would be pretty scary anyway, but given the circumstances of where I was and where I probably shouldn't have been, I just wanted to get moving. So yeah, we're back now in that spot. Where I was staying is just over my shoulder there, and I've just checked it out. I wanted to make sure that I hadn't left anything behind. It's the daytime, obviously, and there are lots of people walking around, and I'm also in the full view of these houses over here. I've seen people in the windows already, so I was thinking of stopping here and making a coffee. I'm not going to do that here, so I'm going to find somewhere else to do that, just so I don't arouse suspicion or cause any concern for local residents, right? I don't want to do that, of course. If I'm going to make a coffee, then I'm going to use my gas stove for that, and yeah, I don't think with this dry ground, I don't think that's such a great idea. So, thank you for joining me. I'm going to make a coffee, I'm going to do a product review, I'm going to review my Snugpak jungle bag. Yeah, and then we'll see what happens with the rest of today. See you soon. Question: why are people such Salud. Hey friends, okay, product review time. The product review for today's adventure, JW5, is the Snugpak jungle bag. I've used this now 3 times, I believe, which is a little premature for me. Usually I like to use something at least half a dozen times before I review it. But it felt right, you know, just because we had a stealth camp, and I feel like I've used this in pretty harsh conditions, and I think I knew pretty much immediately when I started using it what my opinion of it was, and yeah, I want to share that with you today. Apologies also if I seem a little distracted. I've been sitting here for a few minutes and already I've had a fair number of ants like running across my leg. They're harmless enough. They're, you know, they're not biting. They're not they're not causing me any real discomfort or anything. Just if I seem distracted because I'm flicking them away constantly, I apologize. So Snugpak, which is a UK company, but the jungle bag is manufactured in Asia, and I paid 48 euros, I believe, for this, which is actually far less than is advertised on the Snugpak site. I bought it from a third-party retailer here in Spain, and I think I may have got it on a special price or something. I will open this in a moment and show you some of the features inside. Some of the key facts: so it weighs less than 1 kilo, so it's 900 grams, which is super lightweight actually. It measures 220 centimeters long by, I'm going to say 70 centimeters wide. That extra length, 220 centimeters, is quite generous, and when you're doing a stealth camp and you're bivvy bag camping and that's all you have, for me personally, I like to have everything inside the bivvy bag itself. So having that little bit of extra width and length means that I can put my bag at my feet, for example, between my feet. I can put something on my side and I'm not like so unbelievably squashed in. So I think that those extra 10 centimeters or so in width and length really does make a difference. It makes it a far more comfortable sleep. What else? The material is polyester. Now they have some specific descriptions of the polyester. They are this, oh, and this. Cheesy. So it's supposedly like an antibacterial material. That's what it's labeled as, an antibacterial fabric. I'm not too sure about that, but what I do know is that you don't at all get this kind of musty, stale smell that you sometimes get with others. And it does, I have to say, like I've always opened it up when I've got home. I make sure I've aired it out for some time, and I think that's definitely helped. But I do feel as though the material feels very clean. I think I really care for the things that I have. I don't have a huge number of products, so the things that I do have that I invest money in, I make sure that I do my best to treat them as well as I can and keep them and maintain them. But there is something about the fabric in here, like it's a kind of ripstop, really strong polyester, the exterior, and sorry, ants all over me. But yeah, so what do I like about this Snugpak jungle bag? Well, pretty much everything. I'm gonna, spoiler alert, I really love this pack. I think it's actually pretty great value considering some of the other options from competitors, and I feel that the quality in the materials used in this are excellent, even just down to like the plastic buckles, the drawstring, just everything about the build of this feels really strong. So the first time I used this, I was stealth camping at San Miguel, and I took my Unigear Comfy P3 sleeping pad. That was too wide. It's a generous width. I think a standard sleeping pad would be fine in this, but it was too wide. It was really putting a strain on the sides. But I never at any moment felt that like it was going to cause an issue with any of the stitching. I really never had any concerns about like the structural integrity of this, and I really like put a lot of strain. It was really tight around me, and the zip, there must have been so much strain and pressure on the zip because I had so much packed in because of the sleeping pad. Yeah, I just had no concern at all about like the quality of this. It has an internal pocket, which I think is great. Again, especially for stealth camping, there's a couple of things I want on my chest at all times, you know. A couple of things for protection and like essential valuable items. I just want them, and a head torch as well, for example. I just want 2 or 3 items in that pocket that sits right on my chest always. It's right there, no matter what happens. I can grab it in 1 second. I don't have to be rifling through my pockets. I have had to do that before in previous camps, where I have to keep the most essential things like in my pocket, just so I can easily grab it at any moment. But then when I'm a side sleeper, so I'm rolling onto my side and things are sticking into me and it's just uncomfortable. With that pocket, it's great. It has a two-way zipper lengthways, and then it has a two-way zipper, a separate two-way zipper for the feet. So that's actually great. So for ventilation, you can open up the bottom part and you can have your feet completely open, so you can put your feet out if you wanted to. It's good to have those two zips independent of one another, I think, so you're not running a full like J-shaped zip all the way around, having that option of 2 and 2. I'll talk a little bit more about the zips because there is one drawback in relation to that. That's my one complaint is in relation to the zips. We'll come on to that. Key feature of the Snugpak jungle bag is it has a mesh mosquito hood. That's fantastic. So again, when you're stealth camping, what you're lacking, of course, is a sense of security. You're presumably camping somewhere that you possibly shouldn't be, and you want to be as discreet and undercover as possible. You just want to lay low. You're not always in a position to be able to check in detail, like exactly like what are you sleeping on, what are you sleeping near to, in terms of bugs, rodents, even snakes in this area. I've seen a snake here, and things like that. The fact that I can have it zipped up on my feet, zipped up on the side, and then completely enclosed and zipped on the mesh on the top, but I can still breathe. I don't feel like I'm suffocating inside. With some hooped bivy bags, you feel like it does feel really claustrophobic, and this does too to an extent. But I think if you line it up correctly and you don't have the mosquito mesh too high, so it is right down here to over here, which is how it should be, you don't let it get pushed up, right? Then you can breathe unrestricted, and it also helps you to regulate your temperature as well, because it does get really hot in here, especially in this climate. And that mosquito mesh means that I have no concerns about getting bitten or anything entering into my safe space. Here we have the mesh hood. It's a really fine mesh. No mosquitoes are getting through that, I'm sure of it. And it's optional. You can roll this up and put it inside the hood, and it means that you can use it just as a standard sleeping bag without this, or you could use it, open it and use it flat as a quilt without having to use the mosquito mesh at all. It's an option. Alright, when you're stealth camping, you have such a tiny space that you need to feel safe in, and that is your domain. Like you wouldn't sleep otherwise unless you had some sense of like, I'm okay, I'm protected in my own way, I can live with this situation for one night, I can sleep. So it's really important that you have that sense. When security is lacking in a stealth camp situation, you really do need to feel like you can sleep. And I think without this mosquito mesh, I would really struggle with this. I would not be able to sleep if I was fully enclosed. Also for visibility, with a mosquito mesh, I can just put my head up and look around and see, like, have a full field of view, and it's great. Another excellent feature of this is its size. So it has these compression straps on the side, but even without fully using these, because you wouldn't really want to keep it packed fully compressed for very long, it's only 18 centimeters by 15 centimeters when it's packed. That's awesome, because it's like half the size of my sleeping bag, and it's even smaller than some of the really high-end down sleeping bags, for example. It's almost the exact same width as the bag that I use, my 30-litre backpack that I use for stealth camps, and it's the same color, which is convenient. And I can just strap this to the bottom and you don't even notice it's there. I really like how I can strap Snugpak to the bottom of my bag. I just feed these clips, the straps through the straps on the jungle bag, both sides, so even if they come loose, it's just going to dangle. I'm not going to lose it. And it just sits there hanging at the bottom of my 30-litre Quechua backpack, and it's just really secure. It doesn't bounce around. If I want, I can pull it really tight if I need it to be really secure, but this is a great benefit. I don't have to take up really limited real estate inside the bag. I can just strap it to the outside and the base, and I don't even see that it's there. When you're stealth camping, of course, like especially if you're just scoping out the area before you head in, you don't want to immediately stand out like it's obvious that you're intending on sleeping or camping there. So if I put this inside my bag, you would never notice. It's really easy to discreetly place it into a rucksack or something. It just looks like someone's just out for a walk, just with maybe some food or drinks or something like that. You would have no idea that there's actually a full sleeping system in this tiny little bag. It comes in various colours. I think it comes in 4 different colours. There's a black, there's the kind of camouflage colour, there's a light khaki colour, I believe, and then there's this, like an olive green. It's kind of military grade style green. And for me, it would always be this option. For me personally, that's just my style. Especially if I'm stealth camping, like this or black would both be great options, right? Now, what do I not like about the Snugpak jungle bag? The only issue I've ever found with this is in relation to the zipper. It snags. I find that even without putting any pressure on it, even if I'm not inside the sleeping bag and I'm just zipping it up just when I'm at home after airing it out, I find that it constantly snags. Here we can see the zippers on the bottom at the feet. They're not YKK zippers, by the way. And here, the zipper for along the side. I mean, look, even then, you see how I tried to open that, and let's try and do it again. It just snags a little bit there, even there at the top. Just a little, I have to give it an extra big tug, so to speak. What's interesting is it doesn't seem to snag, like the material around the zipper doesn't seem to get stuck in the zip. That doesn't seem to be the problem. I'm not really sure what it is, like why the teeth of the zipper are becoming like restricted and it keeps getting stuck. I'm not sure what that is. I don't think it's a specific defect with this, because I have heard other people say the same thing. And it's not a major issue. It's not like it does it every centimetre, like it takes ages. But every single time I do it, at least once or twice, I get it gets stuck, and I have to just pull it out straight and then do it again. And it's not a major issue, but when you're stealth camping, for example, that's not really something you want to be dealing with. Using the zip at all when you're stealth camping is not ideal. It can be quite loud. Or this one is quite quiet, I have to say, but it's just kind of slightly irritating. You see? Snagging again. Maybe I did that too fast, but I don't understand why it snags in this way. And now the base. See, look, I can't even, it's just stuck now. There's nothing in the teeth of the zip. Now it goes. But I had to open that all the way out, you see? And again, it's stuck again. Look. So the zippers are metal. They're not plastic. And they do feel strong. But I just think the teeth are really fine. Why did they not go for slightly bigger teeth? Fewer and bigger. I'm sure there's a perfectly good reason why. It could be a cost factor, but you know, I think I'm looking for negatives really with that comment, because I don't think it's such a major issue. And the zipper on the mosquito mesh is fine. That's completely smooth. It's a different type of zip. That's a smaller zipper, and that seems to glide much more easily. It's really only the lengthways zipper that just seems to snag several times sometimes. But hey, overall, I think the Snugpak jungle bag is fantastic. I also like that you can open it up into a full quilt. That's important for me because I'm not somebody that likes to sleep like restricted. I'm not really a fan of mummy bags, so I don't actually like that feeling of restriction. I can live with it for the purposes of stealth camp because I think it's a necessity. But if I'm camping in a tent, for example, I really like the fact that I could open this out into a quilt. I think that's really important. That's not the case with many sleeping bags. It's rectangular, not mummy shaped, so it doesn't taper, which means it can be laid completely flat and used as a blanket as well. So opening the jungle bag is super easy. So you'll notice that the lighter green color of the compression sack is in contrast to the darker, richer green of the actual jungle bag. I don't know if you can see the type of, maybe here's a place. You can see where the name was printed. Perhaps you can see the contrast in the color. So there's a really dark green text here, and this beautiful rich like dark green color is just perfect. I really like the color of this for stealth purposes especially, but it's just so strong. It really is. I mean, my other sleeping bag I wouldn't want to do this, to pull it, but like I have no doubt at all, like all the stitching feels so strong. The quality in this just feels superb. So, in conclusion, the Snugpak jungle bag gets a 9 out of 10. My only possible complaint would be in relation to the thickness of the teeth on the zipper. I do think that could have been upgraded to a stronger. It could be YKK, for example. Maybe that would help. But yeah, it's awesome. I highly recommend the Snugpak jungle bag. It will be my go-to option for a long time for stealth camps. I don't see how there's anything that's better than this if I just want to take one item and feel safe and dry and protected from the elements, and it's stealthy and it's lightweight and it's incredibly good quality. It just ticks all of the boxes of everything that I need for a stealth camp. Jungle bag, bivy bag, it's the one. Leave no trace. So we've survived until the end of another JimbowalkS adventure. I hope you enjoyed JimbowalkS 5, first ever urban stealth camp. It was a bit of a disaster. It's tricky with these stealth camps. There are so many uncontrollable factors and so many variables that it's really difficult to structure them in an organized way. But I made sure to include a product review, the Snugpak jungle bag, a beer review, the Steam Brew IPA, Imperial IPA, and some gratitude time where I gave some thank you to Josh and Marcus, two of my friends from Barcelona, and of course Grace's Adventures. Please check her channel out, she's amazing. In general, I think it could have gone a lot worse this trip. Certainly it was a little more dramatic than I would like. I would like to have stayed overnight that first night, but it was a really good test, testing out my equipment, testing out the setup. I think I've learned how to do these better next time, so please stick with me. We'll certainly have better organized stealth camps coming up. very soon. As always, I really appreciate your support. Please, 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 if there's anything you can do to support the channel, whether it's liking this video, sharing, subscribing, of course, but in any case, just you having seen this video is a huge help to me in these early stages of the channel. So thank you as always for your support. Much love, gratitude, peace, love and happiness to everyone. And thank you.